Extraterrestrials, the appearance and encounters with them. My name is Dr. Krista Herzog. I am fascinated by extraterrestrials, especially by their knowledge and their spiritual abilities. Extraterrestrials are highly developed and superior to us. Many extraterrestrials are far superior to us. They fascinate and frighten. Extraterrestrials, ETs for short, also called aliens, and intelligent biological entities, IBEs for short. These are some millions of different species, usually of high intelligence, who live outside our planet or have the origin outside of our planet. Only about 300 are and will be of interest to us humans. Alien life in general can be in every stage of development of life, between oneself and highly developed beings. In this article, I limit myself to creatures that are at least as highly developed as we humans. I wrote a post with the title, "Is there alien life?" In that article, you will find the proof that it is impossible that there is no alien life, and that there must be an incredible number of extraterrestrial life in different stages of development. The diversity of more developed extraterrestrials is hard to grasp for us humans. There are extraterrestrials who live among us, who live underground in a tunnel system, who live in the sea, who live in the Antarctic under the ice, who live on other planets in our galaxy, who live in other galaxies, who live in our universe, who live in other universes, who live in a different time, future or past, who live in a different dimension, who live in a parallel world or parallel reality. Humans live in a three-dimensional space and in the space-time continuum. We cannot imagine a multidimensionality. One removes one variable from the space-time continuum, everything else falls away. Then there is no time. It all exists at the same time. One perceives what one focuses on. Without consciousness, there is nothing at all. Crashes and propulsion systems of extraterrestrial spaceships. The crash of an alien-manned spaceship near Roswell in 1947 probably involved two spaceships, is not the only crash. One of the men should have survived the crash in Roswell. He was smaller, otherwise similar to us humans. Years later, a man has survived the crash of an alien spaceship, and he said, "I'm one of you, just a few hundred years in the future. I could not make it back." So he was from another time. The NSA, which is the US National Security Service, the United States Foreign Secret Service, US military special units, and the NASA have investigated crashed spaceships of alien origin. The transistor, developed in 1947, which was a leap in the development of our electrical engineering, is to be a technology found in the spaceship in Roswell. What was not found was a propulsion system. No propulsion system has been found in later crashes of alien spaceships. In a channeling, an alien explained that they are traveling with setting a certain frequency. Sometimes UFOs suddenly appear, stay in the airspace, which is not possible for a terrestrial plane, and suddenly disappear. To set a certain frequency gives a plausible explanation for that. Few people are able to control their consciousness as desired. The human imaginability needs a tangible propulsion system, such as a fossil fuel-driven engine, to move a flying object. And yet traveling long distances with setting a certain frequency is imaginable and plausible. Think about changing the frequency of radio and television, which causes the sudden appearance of another channel. we have to break out of the familiar rails and look beyond our little box in which we are immured. Our thinking about technologies, about other ways to do things is so very limited, but we can change that. Americans, Russians and Chinese have technologically advanced propulsion systems that allow them to fly to the moon within a few hours and from there to Mars. These propulsion systems are, of course, tested above the Earth, which is hard very often for UFOs. Only a few humans know how far our technology in aviation has advanced. This is kept secret because no country wants another to know how the military is equipped on land, in the air, and in space. Appearance of extraterrestrials. There are extraterrestrials that are similar to us humans, those whose heads are like animals, and others look so strange that they frighten us humans. There are aliens similar to insects, others are reptile-like, and these are just some examples. There are aliens that can change their shape, called shapeshifters. Others are disembodied and can project themselves with any human appearance, but these projections are usually transparent. ETs also appear as light bars, and this is by far not all kinds of their appearances. The most famous kind of extraterrestrials are the greys. There are a few varieties of greys, which differ also in size. Most of them are between 1 meter and 1 meter 50. They, like aliens, have a bigger head as humans because their brain mass is bigger. They have big eyes, holes instead of noses, and a small mouth. Some greys, however, seem to be robots. The size of ETs can be from a few centimeters up to several meters. The latter we call giants. The biblical Goliath is said to have been such a giant. Skeletons of giants were found in all parts of the world. Aside of one of these skeletons, a man put himself down next to the skull, which was longer than the man. Giants still live in the mountains of Afghanistan. Recently, and this is spring 2017, a recently deceased giant has been found by American troops. I have seen photos of dead aliens, tiny ones. This was on a YouTube video of Stephen Greer, who tries to do something that the existence of aliens are made public. As early as the 60s, special troops of American military knew of 185 different types of extraterrestrials. There was a booklet with drawings and short descriptions of these kinds of ETs. Common to all aliens who have a body is that they have a head, 2 hands and 2 legs, though they can have 3 to 6 fingers. Many of the aliens have a big head because of the larger brain mass. They deal with thought very much and communicate mainly telepathically. This makes the mouth less important, which is therefore small. The eyes are large in proportion to the size of the face. Encounters with extraterrestrials. You can find countless stories and very different encounters with extraterrestrials in the internet and in books. I mention only a few. A man who met an alien said, "I had been prepared for this encounter. When I then faced him, the feeling I had was indescribable. The words terror and anxiety to describe this feeling are far underemphasized. Since not only the appearance of aliens, but also their behavior is very different from that of man, I could not get used to them even after years. This man was on the Mars for many years, where special troops of the US military is stationed. Pilots of fighter planes in the Second World War on both sides, the Allies and the German Wehrmacht, were shocked as small but highly developed flying objects flew toward them and through their plane and through the pilots, both sides believed that the other side had developed a new type of weapon that primarily influenced the psyche. But it was aliens investigating what was going on. It is told of abductions with medical tests being made with humans. Some people experience this from an early age, multiple times in life, and they are constantly in the fear of being abducted again. From some people, eggs and semen are taken to produce hybrids. Aliens can be benevolent and hostile. There are extraterrestrials who are benevolent, others who seem to be benevolent but ultimately are not, and others who are malevolent. And here too there are many gradations. Some aliens provide us with advanced technologies, others help us with good advice. They are highly developed ETs who do not need to take away anything from others or inflict harm on anyone. Some of these beings are pure consciousness, that is, they are bodiless. Other aliens abduct people and often make painful medical tests. There are extraterrestrials who eat people. This includes at least one reptile species. Of course, they prefer young human flesh. Many of the aliens are millions of years ahead of us. There have been many cultures on Earth. Today, up to 12,000 years old cultures are known to us. It is said that there are much older ones. The Earth is a young planet. Other planets in our universe are millions of years and probably much older, with cultures that are much older than on the Earth. In older cultures, aliens were amongst humans, even those who look different as humans. Most aliens are technologically and spiritually much more developed than we are. Ufologists believe that we must appear to some aliens as monkeys appear to us. We can communicate only partially with monkeys. There are extraterrestrials who speak to us through media. The voice of the media changes and appears strange, with a different melody, sometimes with an unfamiliar accent. They teach us that we humans are capable of much more than we dare. However, one must practice these mental abilities. There are ETs whose age expectancy is about 1,000 years. They go to school for 200 years, communicate telepathically, and the teacher communicates with his students telepathically, which allows them to pass on much more knowledge in a short time. Meaning of dimensions in relation to extraterrestrial life. The word dimension in relation to extraterrestrial life has different meanings. First, dimension of development, and second, dimensions in the sense of parallel worlds or parallel realities. Dimensions of development. There are 13 dimensions of development. There are aliens who are like us in the third or fourth dimension, and others who are spiritually highly developed and in a higher dimension. Some have, like us, a body, others can show themselves as holograms that are usually transparent, others are shown by means of light. This can look like a human body, like a ball, and it can take other shapes. Dimensions in the sense of parallel worlds and parallel realities. In a broadcast from Coast to Coast AM, or it was maybe Fade to Black by Jimmy Church, they talked about time travel. The spokesman said, "We are now switching on phones, but please only call if you are from another time. Let's see if there is a time traveler amongst the listeners." For several minutes there was no call. In the meantime, the spokesman explained that the scientist would then explain a propulsion system with which one can travel through time. Then he said, "I repeat, the phones are turned on and I want you to call only when you're from another time." Again, nothing happened for minutes. Then a caller answered. "It has nothing to do with time travel," he said. "I'm from another dimension and I was sent to explore this dimension here on Earth." "How should we understand that?" the spokesman asked. "Well, in every dimension there are a few differences," said the caller. "What, for example?" the spokesman asked. "The political system, the landscapes?" The caller said, "Both are the same, but there are some differences, such as in my dimension there were never cars powered by gasoline. They are powered by electricity." "Oh, has Tesla succeeded?" "Yes, Tesla has been successful with us." "And there is no oil industry? Is Detroit the town of car production of America?" "No," said the caller, "it's Atlanta." "Unfortunately, we have to take a break for advertisement," said the spokesman. "Can you stay tuned?" "Yes, but in a few minutes I will be called back," answered the caller. After the break, the spokesman asked, "How many dimensions have you been investigating so far?" "Only about 50. We are at the beginning. And it still happens that we cannot get people back." The caller was then suddenly gone. "The man sounded somehow convincing," said the speaker. "Interesting, but hard for our imagination. Shall we believe that?" "I do not know, but I consider it possible." A next caller answered. "I'm also from another dimension. They could not get me back. I'm here for 3 years now." "How do you do that? I mean, how do you live here?" the spokesman asked. "There is me in many dimensions. Just that I now live my life in this dimension with the knowledge of another dimension," explained the caller. "What is a dimension from which you are different as here?" "Well, there are a few little differences. For example, people are happier. The crime rate is lower. The people help each other. Well, I'm not happy here." And the caller told a little more. However, conversation had to be terminated because of the interview with the scientist. Why are there no reports about aliens in mass media? A small group of people who are the elite, who can also be called the leaders of the world, have contact with some groups of extraterrestrials, especially to Alpha Draconians. The Draconians enjoy power over others. They eat human flesh, and we owe them the monetary system. Like other alien species, they have conquered several planets. We are one of those planets, and we are held as slaves who work for them, while they are conceivably rich and well off, as well as the people who have agreements with them. The world leaders are in possession of the mass media. The mass media have the intention of not reporting anything about extraterrestrials. Moreover, the topic is much too complex. Many people cannot imagine that there are extraterrestrials. How do you want to explain the elusive variety of aliens? If you want to learn more about aliens, look for information in alternative media. There are many websites, blogs, and YouTube channels that deal with this topic. What should you believe about what you read and hear of extraterrestrials? You believe what you hear and read in the news, be it on television or in the newspaper, although not all of this is true. Fake or false news, it's called. You have to read between the lines and maybe also do some research. A spokesman of the Roman Catholic Church said that the existence of extraterrestrials was possible and that this would be a testament to the greatness of God. Should there be a direct contact of extraterrestrials on the Earth, which is reported in the media, a mass hysteria is feared. It could also lead to illnesses and epidemics. Just think that most Indians have not died in combat, but because of smallpox and the flu. The same fate might befall us humans. Not on all inhabited planets is a monetary system. Some of the more highly developed extraterrestrials say that there is no money where they live and therefore no monetary system. After schooling, everyone can choose a profession, pays enough, everything, and what is not there is manifested with thoughts and frequencies, as I explain in several of my posts. The many sightings of UFOs. UFO stands for Unidentified Flying Objects. There are a lot of flying objects that are thought to be UFOs, meant with extraterrestrials, but they are produced by America. Some of the observed flights are test flights of highly developed jets and spaceships. Many of the UFO sightings that are being investigated can be easily explained. Sometimes it's only some dirt on the lens of the camera, but some of the UFO sightings are absolutely from aliens. The Earth is at the outer edge of the Milky Way, and aliens from other galaxies are passing the Earth. Never before was a mothership sighted. They are said to be unimaginably large. There should be some who are as big as the USA. Many of the spaceships that are sighted have 1 or 5 men on board. Only a few are slightly larger. The alien spaceships have different forms. The shapes are round, triangular, V-shaped, and cigar-shaped. They can be black, metallic, light-colored, red, green, and so on. Not every sighting is easy for people. There have been burns to the skin and cancer because of atomic contamination. UFO sightings can be reported to MUFON. You find a link of MUFON on my blog under Extraterrestrials. Not all sighted UFOs are of an alien origin. All major countries on Earth, especially the US, Russia, and China, have been conducting research on space since the end of the Second World War. All the superpowers have contact with extraterrestrials. I only have knowledge about the US. Special units of the US military have been stationed on Mars for decades. Mars must have been inhabited. However, an atomic war is said to have made a large part of the Mars uninhabitable. In the non-nuclear contaminated part, several types of ETs and US military troops have colonies. I would believe also Russia and maybe China. The Moon is a stopover on the flight from Earth to Mars. The mission of defense forces of the Earth is to protect the Earth. They are said to have a fleet of airplanes that are constantly circling around and near the Earth. Men who were stationed on Mars and tell about it are Randy Kramer, Corey Good, and other US Marines. As already mentioned, some aliens are always trying to conquer inhabited planets, so there are always wars in space. Despite wars, diplomatic relations remain intact. The Earth, which is probably in the hands of the Alpha Draconians, who like fights and wars, might protect us against alien attacks. As long as the Draconians have power over the Earth, as humans, they will defend us. Extraction of metals on the Moon, Mars, and other planets. Not only do extraterrestrials have interest, or might be interested in mining metals on Earth. Recently, it was reported that Chinese spaceships going to the Moon will collect data and extract metals. The metals are to finance the flight to the Moon. I think that America and Russia have been mining metals on the Moon, the Mars, and other planets for decades, and others partially finance space travel and space exploration. Why it is not easy for extraterrestrials to land on Earth. Aliens who have survived the crash of their spaceship have declared that the pressure on Earth would be far too high for them. Pressure chambers were then built similar to pressure chambers of divers who emerged too quickly from the depths. Only in such pressure chambers is the survival of aliens possible. Of course, these must be aliens who are not so developed spiritually and so they cannot adapt themselves to the high pressure on the Earth, as for example by changing their frequency. In a channeling, an ET told that the Pleiadians had a plan to greatly reduce the pressure on the Earth. The majority of people would die within a few days. If you survive, you can build the world with them. They would build new cities according to their architectural ideas. We can only hope that this will never happen. I would not survive the reduction of the pressure. Technological and spiritual knowledge of extraterrestrials. There is a lot of technological knowledge thanks to the exchange with ETs, which is known to some organizations on the Earth, but not made public. And also by investigation of crashed spaceships of extraterrestrial technological know-how became known to us. For example, the knowledge of energy production without causing monthly costs would be a great loss for the oil industry and the electricity industry. The knowledge of healing without using tablets would greatly reduce profits of the pharmaceutical industry. So there are organizations who really try hard to keep technological knowledge from us. I am fascinated by the thinking and the developed consciousness of aliens. If you control your mind and your thoughts, you control your life, I wrote in a post. Our consciousness is not so highly developed as that of many extraterrestrials who are millions of years ahead of us. We will not bring it to this high control of mind, thought, and frequency, but I believe that we can practice the control of mind and thought. There is a subliminal for this, which you'll find on my website, called Control Your Mind and Your Thoughts. On the subject of intellectual and spiritual development and the development of consciousness, I will write more posts. I wrote this post after watching and listening to one and more videos on YouTube every day for months, dealing with the topics that I addressed in this post. It is no longer possible for me to refer to individual videos. This article is, however, a summary of lots of videos. About every section one could write a book. To think about. If there would not be a monetary system on Earth and you would not have to earn money, which profession would you choose? If you could, with the change in your frequency, with the focus of thoughts and feelings, within a fraction of a second, travel to any part of this world or of this universe, what place would you choose? Would you be able to fulfill your wishes solely by thought and how you feel? What would be the first wish you would manifest? Would you be offered to live several years with spiritually highly developed aliens to learn the control of your consciousness, which includes the control of your frequency? Would you accept the offer? Thank you for listening. This was Dr. Krista Herzog. Come to visit my website and blog, kristaherzog.com. Thank you.